Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Future Force. Today we are going to take on one of the most dramatic and important questions in modern warfare. What would happen if 12 hypersonic missiles were launched against the United States Navy? Could the most powerful naval force in history withstand such an attack? Or would the sheer speed and destructive power of these advanced weapons break through even the toughest defenses? It is a question that keeps military planners awake at night and fuels endless debates among analysts, strategists, and defense experts. On the one side, we have the promise of hypersonic missiles, fast, agile, and deadly. On the other, the U.S. Navy with its massive fleet, layered defenses, cutting-edge radars, and unmatched global reach. The showdown between these two forces is a battle between offense and defense, between speed and resilience, between a one-shot weapon and a billion-dollar fortress at sea. In this video, we will explore every layer of this conflict, from the exterior design of the systems involved to their interiors, their performance, safety measures, unique selling points, and the price of deploying such technologies. In the end, we will attempt to answer the big question. In a confrontation of 12 hypersonic missiles versus the U.S. Navy, who would actually win? When we first think about this battle, the image that comes to mind is the terrifying exterior of the hypersonic missile itself. Sleek, narrow, almost like a spear thrown by a god, its entire design screams speed. Hypersonic missiles are not bulky or complicated in their exterior. They are shaped for one purpose only, to fly at extraordinary speeds through the atmosphere, piercing the air at Mach 5, 7, or even 10. The outer shell of such a missile is made of specialized materials capable of resisting incredible heat generated by air friction. At those speeds, the surface of the missile glows red-hot, pushing the limits of materials science. Some of the world's most advanced laboratories have spent decades perfecting alloys and ceramics that won't simply melt away under the blistering heat of hypersonic travel. Now picture 12 of these sleek weapons streaking across the horizon at once, blazing trails of plasma in the upper atmosphere as they descend toward the Navy's ships below. It is an intimidating sight, one that explains why these weapons are often called carrier killers. Now contrast that exterior with the exterior of the U.S. Navy's fleet. Here we are not talking about single-use missiles but floating cities of steel. An American aircraft carrier, such as the USS Gerald R. Ford, towers over the ocean at more than 1,000 feet long. Its decks bustle with aircraft, its hull lined with defensive systems, its exterior designed not just for durability, but also for survivability. Flanking the carrier are destroyers and cruisers, bristling with vertical launch cells, radar domes, and missile interceptors. These ships may look bulky compared to the slim profile of a missile, but their exteriors are equally purposeful. Radar, absorbing coatings, reinforced hulls, and even stealth design elements are built into them. Every antenna, every sensor mast, every missile launcher sticking out of their superstructure is a piece of a massive, interconnected puzzle. Seen together, the Navy's exterior is not one object but an entire shield on the ocean. Where the missile is a single spear, the Navy's fleet is an armored phalanx. As dramatic as the exterior may be, the true story lies within the interior design of these systems. Inside a hypersonic missile is one of the greatest engineering achievements of the modern age. The propulsion system often combines a rocket booster with a scramjet engine. The booster accelerates the missile to hypersonic speed, after which the scramjet takes over, compressing incoming air to burn fuel efficiently at blistering velocity. Inside its guidance system, sensors and computers work at unimaginable speed to calculate trajectories. Some hypersonic missiles are equipped with maneuverable glide vehicles, which detach and zigzag unpredictably toward their target, making interception nearly impossible. The interior of the missile is a masterpiece of miniaturization, every component compact, precise, and deadly. It doesn't need living quarters, it doesn't need communication rooms or medical bays. It is a pure weapon, all killer, no filler. Now step inside a U.S. Navy ship, and the contrast could not be more striking. A Navy ship is alive, bustling with activity, filled with sailors and officers performing countless tasks. Walk into the combat information center of an aegis destroyer, and you'll see walls lined with glowing screens, radar displays, and command consoles. Here, operators monitor every blip in the sky, every movement on the ocean's surface, and every potential threat in the battle space. Inside the carrier itself, operations rooms track aircraft, intelligence units process satellite feeds, and engineering teams keep massive nuclear reactors humming smoothly. The interior of these ships is as much about resilience as it is about combat. There are compartments sealed off to contain flooding, redundant systems for power and communication, fire suppression mechanisms ready to activate in seconds. Unlike the missile's cold, singular focus, the Navy ship's interior is a web of human effort, layered defense, and survival mechanism. It is designed not just to launch weapons, but to sustain life and continue fighting even after being hit. The interior is where the Navy's greatest advantage lies: the adaptability and willpower of human beings working together. When we talk about performance, the comparison gets more intense. Hypersonic missiles are defined by their speed. At Mach 5, a missile covers a mile every second. At Mach 10, it covers nearly 2 miles every second. Imagine the Navy's defensive systems trying to calculate trajectories, launch interceptors, and make split-second decisions with that kind of closing velocity. Traditional missile defense systems were built to counter slower, predictable threats. Hypersonics change the game. Their maneuverability allows them to deviate from ballistic paths, swooping in from high altitudes, skimming low over the ocean, or weaving in unpredictable patterns. Their performance is terrifying, a nearly unstoppable force that threatens to render entire generations of missile defense obsolete. Yet the Navy's performance cannot be dismissed. A single U.S. carrier strike group operates as a complex network. Destroyers armed with the Aegis combat system can track hundreds of targets simultaneously, launching SM-6 interceptors designed specifically to deal with fast, moving threats. Close-in weapon systems like the Phalanx SEALs spew thousands of 20 rounds per minute, creating a wall of metal to shred any missile that makes it through. Electronic warfare systems jam signals, deceive sensors, and scramble guidance. Aircraft like the E-2D Hawk extend detection ranges, while F-35s patrol the skies and can even attempt to intercept missiles at range. The Navy's performance is not about speed, it is about integration. It is the combined arms of ship, aircraft, satellite, radar, and human coordination working in unison to create a defense web. Against 12 incoming hypersonic missiles, this performance will be tested to the extreme, but it gives the Navy a fighting chance. Safety features play a major role in this battle as well. For the hypersonic missile, safety is not about saving itself, but ensuring its mission succeeds. Its hardened casing resists heat and countermeasures. Its redundant guidance systems ensure it doesn't lose track of its target, and its ability to maneuver ensures it can dodge interception attempts. On the other side, the Navy's safety features are designed to protect not just technology but lives. Every sailor aboard a ship trains relentlessly in damage control. Fires are contained quickly, hull breaches patched, and systems rerouted around damaged areas. Modern ships have armored magazines for their own missiles, ensuring that a hit doesn't trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. Redundant communication systems ensure that even if part of the ship is destroyed, the rest can continue fighting. Safety in the Navy is about survival under fire, ensuring the fleet can endure long enough to win the battle. The unique selling points of these two sides highlight their strengths and weaknesses. For the hypersonic missile, the selling point is clear: unstoppable speed and maneuverability. For nations that cannot match the U.S. Navy ship for ship, hypersonics promise an equalizer, a way to threaten even the most powerful carrier strike group. For the Navy, the unique selling point is its versatility and persistence. A missile is fired once and gone. A Navy ship can reload, refuel, repair, and fight again and again. The Navy projects power globally, not just through one strike, but through presence, endurance, and adaptability. The missile is a scalpel, the Navy is a hammer. The two are fundamentally different tools, and their unique selling points reflect that. Price is another critical factor. A hypersonic missile can cost anywhere from tens of millions to potentially over $100 million per unit, depending on sophistication. Launching 12 at once could cost over $1 billion, yet even that pales in comparison to the price of the Navy's assets. A single Ford-class carrier costs upwards of $13 billion. Its air wing adds billions more. Each Aegis destroyer is over $1 5 billion, and the total value of a carrier strike group can be measured in tens of billions. In purely economic terms, hypersonics seem like a bargain, a relatively cheap way to threaten an immensely expensive fleet. But economics is not the only factor. Effectiveness is what matters. If all 12 missiles are intercepted, then the billion-dollar strike fails completely. If just one missile breaks through and cripples a carrier, the exchange suddenly seems devastatingly efficient. So, who would win in this ultimate showdown? If 12 hypersonic missiles were fired at a U.S. carrier strike group today, the Navy's layered defenses would almost certainly stop some of them. The SM-6 interceptors, the SUs, the electronic warfare, the aircraft. All of these would engage. Realistically, several of the 12 would be destroyed before impact. But the terrifying truth is that the probability of one or two making it through is high. A single hypersonic missile strike on a destroyer could sink it. A strike on an aircraft carrier could cripple it, potentially changing the course of an entire naval battle. However, even if one ship is lost, the Navy is far from defeated. Its resilience, its redundancy, and its overwhelming capacity for retaliation ensure that the attacker would face devastating consequences. The Navy's true strength is not in being invulnerable, but in its ability to absorb punishment and respond with overwhelming force. The lesson here is that there is no absolute winner. Hypersonic missiles are not magic bullets, but they are a serious challenge. The U.S. Navy is not invincible, but it is not helpless either. The battle between these two forces is part of a larger arms race, one where offense and defense continually evolve in response to each other. Right now, hypersonic missiles pose a unique danger, but the Navy is already developing new interceptors, directed energy weapons, and advanced sensors to meet this challenge. Tomorrow's showdown will look different from today's, and the cycle will continue. In the end, the real winner is not determined by who has the faster missile or the tougher ship, but by who adapts faster in this never-ending race of technology and strategy. And that is the future of warfare.